Good morning, ladies. Welcome back to another episode of Ladies Kickin' Ass. Hey, this morning, I've just had a lot on my heart this week about being a working mom during the summertime. And I'm not going to lie, I have shed some serious tears this week just trying to get everything done. And as I was sitting in my car yesterday after an incredible lunch meeting with my friend Stephanie, I just had to decompress for a moment, let a couple tears roll out, and realize this is an episode that I'm sure not only I need, but I'm sure there are other moms just like you that are struggling with this right now. So this episode is for you, and I'm talking directly to you if this is feeding your soul today, because you are not alone. And I know a lot of times when things get crazy and hectic, we don't talk about it enough. And it is something that we need to talk about more. We need to find camaraderie with each other. And even if it's just through your AirPods and you're listening to this and you're saying, oh my gosh, she's also struggling with this, just like I am, and I'm not alone, then I have helped someone today. And you guys just listening to the podcast and being engaged in the community is so incredibly helpful for my spirit too. So thank you so much for all the positive comments and reviews and everything that is left here for Ladies Kickin' Ass, because it truly is a labor of love to be able to come here and serve, bring you incredible guests, and bring some education to your life that can help you with your business and help you become a better woman, lady kicking ass, and a better mama. So today I really want to talk about how stressful it really is to have kids home for school when you are trying to run a business. We all remember COVID, and we got through that. So on a positive note, let's start there. This is only a couple of months, so this too will pass. But I want us to look at it, and I know a lot of us are probably like, oh my gosh, the first couple of weeks out of school is like, okay, great. They're out of school. We kind of get off of having to get up so early or be somewhere at a certain time. But then after a couple of weeks, like when I lose my routine, I feel like my life is falling apart. I'm a very big routine person. So I want you to know that if you're feeling that way too, you're not alone. But what we can do is we can put a little bit of structure into things by saying that we have breakfast at a certain time in the morning, saying that I'm going to work earlier in the mornings and maybe in the evenings after the kids are settled down and doing their own things, so that you can spend that part of the day with them. Some of you don't have the option to be able to do that, and you have to be working during the daytime. So one of the things that I know I struggle with desperately is that I always have a ton of things to do on my to-do list. So today I really want to go through 5 little topics that maybe can help improve things for you as far as being a high achiever and thinking that you're not getting enough stuff done. Because let's face it, mamas, we are overloaded during the summertime. I have 2 of my own children here all the time that are 13 and 9. So they can be at home by themselves for short periods of time. And they're very helpful to each other. But when my husband's kids are here too, now we have 5 kids at home, and they cannot all be left home alone, because that just kind of scares me. So we have to take turns. And so one of the first things that I want to talk about is just the summer struggle of juggling work and the kids. That is a unique challenge that a lot of working moms run into during the summertime. And let's face it, these summer camps and all this other shit like that, fantastic. Except if you have 5 kids, that will cost you like $5,000 a month to put them in summer camp. So yes, getting them involved in some activities is great, but then you're like, now I have something else to do. To be real honest with you, I don't do a lot of any of that stuff with my kids during the summertime. One, I kind of like the break. Two, I live in Arizona, so it's hot as hell. So there's not any sports going on during that time. So like we don't have practice at nights, and it's kind of like we can just have a couple of months that aren't extremely structured and very pulling on our time. But what you can do is preparation is the key to not being overwhelmed with the schedule of the kids and the schedule of work. I like to sit down with my husband and just go over our week. What are you doing? Where are you doing? Our calendars are my live and die. I'm planning. I sat down this morning, actually. I have all of my stuff in my calendars of things that I want to get completed, meetings that I have to do. But I also recorded when I plan on going to my office, because then my partner knows she's going to be here or she's going to be at the office. And that's a really important thing, is just the communication. Because if you are married mamas, this is not all your responsibility. Notice that you won't see a podcast that is working men and kids on summer vacation. However, there's probably more than one or a dozen of these kinds of podcasts, because the care of the children typically falls back on the mamas. Many times, I know a lot of moms that are business owners or they're working from home too. And so that responsibility is like, well, you're at home. Yeah, but I'm also working. So you have to have those conversations with your partner. If you are a single mom, my heart goes out to you, because I know how hard that is. And I know that all the responsibility falls on you. So that is why it's super important that if you find yourself in that place, that you are building a schedule so that you know when you're going to be working on stuff and when you can be free for things. I think it's very important that you let your kids know what the schedule looks like. The night before we go to bed, I always tell my kids, look, this is what I got to do tomorrow. Either like I'm going to the office, I'm going to be there till about noon, then I'm going to come home, then we can do X. And if you tell them that, all they hear is the X. So make sure that you can make good on that. They think it's a promise. Make sure that you can show up for them. This will help them out. A lot of times, too, I involve my kids with some things that have to do with work so that they don't feel like I'm just leaving them and going off to work, or I'm locking myself in my office at home. I involve them in some things. And if your kids are old enough to be able to do that, I would highly encourage that. The second thing I really want to talk about is the importance of taking care of yourself during this time, too. I have been battling with some health situations these last couple of weeks. And it's truly nothing more than like, I don't stop to take care of myself. It is one of those things where at the end of the day, I'm like, did I eat? And that's crazy. It's so crazy. And I didn't really sit down and think about how bad it really was until I was talking with my business coach this week. And I was actually talking with my friend Stephanie about this too. And it's like, did I drink water today? What did I, like, as far as taking care of yourself, I can tell you everything I did for work. But as far as taking care of yourself, we tend to put ourselves on take ourselves off the fucking burners during the summertime, because we are now taking care of the kids during the day. That has kind of replaced our lunchtime and our everything. So if you're a working mom from home, take a lunch break and have lunch with your kids. Have that little 30 minutes, 1 hour break that you can take, 15 minutes if that's all you can spare. But definitely do that. It's a decompression time for you too, to just stop what you're doing, think about stuff. How many times do we get sidetracked on a project that we weren't even going to work on that day anyways? And then you stop and you're like, what the hell am I doing? No, just me? I don't think so. So that little break can mean a lot. It really can mean a lot. Definitely taking time to just have some time to yourself. Just have some time to yourself. Yesterday, I had to go to a meeting, real estate meeting, where I was promoting my septic company. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop at this restaurant. I'm going to get my notebook out. I'm going to stop. I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to just hang out by myself for a second. I just needed some alone time. And it was 15 minutes, but I needed to just sit down with my thoughts, think, and write. Find somewhere you can do that. Escaping to the back patio is not the answer because I guarantee you someone will interrupt your 15 minutes. Find somewhere you can do that. If you want to go get your nails done, if you want to just sit and meditate, if you need that time for yourself and you can't seem to find it anywhere else, get up 15 minutes earlier. You can carve out time where you need to carve out time. We carve out time to do our business all the time. And something that I have to tell myself every morning is just an affirmation. If I don't take care of me, none of the rest of this shit even matters. Because my kids need me. My husband needs me. My business needs me. I need me. And I need to take care of myself. And when you are dealing with health issues, my heart goes out to people that have that all the time. Many times we can work on just taking better care of ourselves, and that includes lowering stress levels. So one of the other topics I want to talk to you about going into that is let go of your expectations for summertime. I know many of you that are listening to this podcast are high achievers. You are get shit done kind of gals. You have a to-do list that's 17 miles long that never gets done and never gets completed and you think is never good enough. Humor me this weekend. Spend some time looking at your calendar and cut out anything that isn't of utmost importance. I was listening to a Daily Fire from Growth Day from Brendan Burchard. The link is in the show notes if you want to check it out. And he was talking about looking at your schedule. If you are constantly stressed, I'm raising my hand, and you constantly feel like you're not getting everything done, it's not necessarily that you lack self-discipline to get that done. Maybe you just got too much shit on your plate. And maybe you need to remove some of it. If you could delegate it to somebody else, do that. Can it go to the parking lot? And by parking lot, I mean that spot in your notebook that is a great idea that you'd love to accomplish. But put it out for 6 months. Put it out for 3 months. In 3 months, you're going to have a lot different situation going on than you do right now with your kids at home. It's not going to matter that much for 3 months. And you can work on little tiny parts of that when you find that you have time that you want to, but don't put it on your to-do list. There is nothing more discouraging than making a to-do list of 15 huge items and then never being able to check them off. And you carry them to the next day, to the next day, to the next day, to the next day. My big goal for the rest of the summer is if it cannot be done in one day, it has to go to the parking lot. Because I can't carry over huge projects for the next 2 months. I just cannot do it. My stress level can't take it. I don't have the time. I want to be able to spend some time with my kids while they're out for summer vacation. Make sure that you have people set up or systems set up or outsourcing so that you can do some of that stuff and just table those big projects. I want to do a big overhaul on my septic website. Great. We're going to work on that in August. I want to come up with a whole bunch of new marketing materials. Do I necessarily have to make them? I think in my head I do because I can, but I don't. And so I can give that to someone else to work on. And then we're not getting behind in the business, but I'm also not overwhelming myself. The stress level is huge because the second that you walk in the door from coming home from work or walk out of your office door if you're working from home, your kids can feel your frequency. They can feel the vibration coming off of you. And if you come in and give them the bottom of the barrel of you every day, that's not fair because they're more important. I know sometimes I struggle with that too because let's lead into topic number 4, the guilt. We have to let go of the guilt. When I'm at work, I feel guilty because my kids are at home. When I'm at home, I feel guilty that I'm not getting stuff done at work or I'm not being there to support my team. Being over communicative about what your intentions are for the day is a beautiful thing. And we have to start celebrating our intentions of what we're planning to do for the day. Sometimes shit happens and you can't finish out the rest of the day. So, a tip for you that I use is everything that needs to be done that is of utmost importance, my top 3 tasks, not big old chores, top 3 tasks, none of them taking more than an hour, have to be done in the morning hours. More often than not, the episodic mess ups end up happening in the afternoon, or you get delayed with something in the morning. If I don't schedule those top 3 things first thing in the morning, how often do they really get done? They don't. They don't. A kid calls and they need you to come home, or they need to be taken here, or you've become the Uber mom now, and maybe your husband needs something over here, or you have to support something somewhere else, or something else happens at work and you need to lend some support. Getting those early morning hours, they are beautiful during the summertime. And then last but not least, like we have to give ourselves permission to take a break too. And if you're anything like me, which I know a lot of you are, you're thinking, oh my gosh, but I'm going to get behind. I'm going to get so behind because you're go, 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 go all day, every day. Maybe your soul needs a break. Maybe if you're like me, you find it extremely uncomfortable to take a break. But I also think that many times when the stress level is elevated and we feel like we're going to pull our hair out being at home with our babies, it's not them that's stressing us out. It's the other things that's going on that we haven't taken care of in our lives. And a lot of that has to do with our own expectations on ourselves. We are human. There is only so much you can do during the day, and you have an emotional limit. And I think many times we think, well, I'm still awake, so I got to keep going. How many of you can relate to like after dinner, like you were just emotionally done for the day? And that doesn't have to be in a negative sense. It just is like, I've soaked up so much today, or I killed today, or I'm kind of discouraged, or sometimes you just need to sit with your thoughts. I think as high achievers, we are constantly on the go, that we never stop to analyze and to think. And we have to spend that time to do that. So if you're looking at your calendar this weekend, put some time in there to do that. Put some time in there. Ask each one of your kids, what would you like to do next week? What is something small that we could do next week? Schedule it in there. It's something they look forward to. Like today, my son at 2:30, we are going to get frozen yogurt. He's been asking me all week, and I keep saying, "Oh, well, I'll see if I can fit it in." And last night, that was what hit me in the car yesterday after going to lunch was, what the hell is wrong with you? You'll see if you can fit it in. This little boy, my son, loves to go on dates with me. That's what he calls them. And typically we go to Wendy's and get like Frosties. And we do that at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And he just thinks that that's super awesome. Those are the things he remembers. Those are the things that they can look forward to. They don't understand the world that we live in of go, 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 go all the time and needing to hit some crazy, wicked expectation. That's not the world they live in. So give them something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be huge. And honestly, Mama, it doesn't even have to cost any money. It's just a matter of time. Kids don't need a perfect mom. They need a happy one. They need a present one. and having conversations with them so that they understand what your work schedule looks like during the summertime is crucial to them understanding maybe you're not around as much as you'd like to be. There's a reason behind that. And even though you're gone during the day working, you have made time for them at some specific time that they can look forward to. It's not about spending every waking hour with your kids. It really isn't. It's about the quality. I almost said quantity. It's not quantity. Quantity is great, but how much you spend engaged, that quality time with them is so incredibly important. That's what they care about. That's what they remember. Give them something to look forward to. Give them something to work towards too. Something even a bigger deal that maybe you go to the water park for the day and you can have them earn that. And that is something that gives them something to work on during the summertime too. So they're not just sitting around bored out of their minds either. So I just want to leave you with this. Just know from the deepest part of my heart, I understand what you're going through. It's emotional for me to even do this podcast. And I've been thinking about it for a couple of days because it's a tough conversation. Because I don't know a mom that doesn't feel guilty for going to work and leaving her kids at home. I don't. I think that's a lot more common than feeling like I'm guilty because I'm not at work. Now, if you own your own business, it's almost like those two poles are like, which one do I pick? Always, your family is most important. Your family cannot be derailed by you showing up. Your business is going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. In Arizona, we only have, I think it's like 7 weeks of summer vacation. We're already halfway through it already. So give yourself a break. Give yourself a damn break. Take a breath. If you got to go sit somewhere and have a drink or go have a coffee or just go sit somewhere where no one can find you for 15 minutes, do that. And do that frequently. Do it on your way home from work if you have to. An incredible thing that was taught to us by one of our Tony Robbins coaches was the practice and the art of tunneling. And if you don't know what that is when you leave that office, let's say you go into a physical office, on your way home, I don't care if you have to talk to yourself because I talk to myself like a crazy person. Arms flying, whatever. If I'm pissed off about something, I'll just let it loose inside of my car and then I don't bring it home and let loose on someone else. If I'm super excited about something, if I'm a little stressed out about something, I will talk to myself on the way home. I will talk it out loud so that I can get it off of my mind. It's so much more important to do that and clear your mind. One tip that we were given too was like, I wipe my feet on an imaginary mat when I walk in that door, and now I'm in a different role. You're not the boss anymore when you go home. So you can't talk to people. Not that you're being a boss bitch at work, but there's a work mode and there's a home mode. And lots of times I know I struggle with bringing my work mode into home mode. And that's not what they need from me here. They need hugs and loves and the feminine side of Tanya to walk in that door because that's who I am to my family. So that tunneling practice is something I would love to encourage you to do if you are working outside of the home. If you're working inside of the home, take a lap around the block after you walk out of your office and do that tunneling practice so that you can walk in the door ready to take on that next role of who it is that you are and how you serve at home. If this resonated with you and this is something that you think another mama could listen to and actually feel like, I got this and I'm not alone, please screenshot this and send it to them. Send them the link. Let me know your thoughts on this. let me know if you feel like I feel right now. It really helps me too to know that this message is being received and that you guys are getting value from the Ladies Kickin' Ass podcast. I know it's not easy being a mom, but it's also the most rewarding thing in the world to me. I know as a high achiever, you want to measure things. And a lot of times at home, there's no tables, there's no charts. But when those little kids walk in and their eyes light up, or your dog's tail goes crazy the second you walk in the door, I have two little furry friends that follow me around everywhere. Be happy because it's such a joy and it's such a blessing to have these kids at home.